Yes, it is on YouTube. Yes, we'll start. I welcome all the students, advocates, research scholars, academicians, professors, faculties, and everybody in the legal fraternity from across India, from across the world, to the international webinar on constitutional values. And I take immense pleasure and I feel proud to invite our distinguished and a versatile, great personality, my inspiration, Honorable Justice Kurian Joseph, former Judge, Supreme Court of India, to the international webinar on constitutional values organized by Lex Edu Foundation, powered by Rotaract Club of Roha Central, Rotaract Club of Bombay Queens, Rotaract Club of Coorg Institute of Technology, Rotaract Club of Patal Ganga. Welcome you, sir. A warm welcome to you. We are very much happy and we feel blessed to have you today in this session to address on a very insightful topic. Now, in the presence of Honorable Justice, I take immense pleasure and happiness to present the progress of Lex Edu Foundation for the past 1 year. Lex Edu Foundation is an NGO, a non-profit organization initiative launched by me in July 16, 2020. We focus on transforming the legal education, the legal awareness to the poor people, underprivileged, weaker section. And we focus on transforming the legal profession. We have organized a lot of national, international initiatives connecting the resource persons, academicians, scholars, and eminent people from across the world, from across India, from different countries across the world. And we are focusing on legal training and free legal aid programs, focusing on professional development, legal services, and then legal awareness to the society. And we are organizing a lot of legal training, professional development, and then the legal awareness programs across India in various cities. We have received Best Valuable Service Award 2021 from Working Women's Forum. With this, I seek the grace and blessings of Honorable Justice to our foundation. We are very much happy and feeling very proud to have him today as our chief guest and speaker. Welcome you, sir. Now, about the international webinar on constitutional values, we all know that Socrates and then great scholars like Stephen Cogley, they used to say that the values, the beliefs, the expectations, the attitude, and actions, when it all are connected with the good values and good principles, it will take us to the destination. It will take us to the achievement, the progress, and the destiny of our life. Like that, everything is depend on the values. What we have values inside, it has to be coming out in actions outside. That is very important. So we all are getting values from education institutions, from our parents, from our families, from the people we are meeting in our life, and everywhere we are getting values, we are learning many things. But every citizens must learn the constitutional values. That is very important. When I approached Honorable Justice, Justice told me, I will address on the topic constitutional values. So this topic has been coined and given to me by Honorable Justice. And Justice, he himself is going to address on the topic. And I thank Honorable Justice for giving this wonderful topic. And many are very much interested from across India to watch this session in YouTube Live and in the meeting. So I thank Honorable Justice for giving this wonderful topic. Now I will read the profile of our Honorable Justice Kurian Joseph, former Judge, Supreme Court of India. Justice Kurian Joseph was born on 13 November 1953. He was educated at St. Joseph's BP School, Chengal, Kaladi, St. Sebastian's High School, Kanjur. For higher education, he attended Bharatamata College, Tirikara, and Sri Shankara College, both affiliated colleges of Mahatma Gandhi University and Kerala Law Academy, University of Kerala in Trivandrum. Justice began his legal career in 1979 In 2000, Justice Kurian Joseph was appointed as a judge of the Kerala High Court. In February 2010, he was elevated as Chief Justice of Himachal Pradesh High Court. On March 8, 2013, he became the judge of the Supreme Court of India. The notable cases justice delivered by him are the triple talaq case, the coal allocation scam case, and Afzal Guru decision on point of admissibility of electronic evidence. These are the notable cases. And I take immense pleasure. I welcome Honorable Justice. I am very much happy to have him today because when I was having my interest to pursue my legal education, Honorable Justice was my inspiration. I always admired his lectures, his speeches, and the way he motivates the young generations and the budding young advocates. And he was my inspiration. And I am very much thankful to the power of universe. It has taken me to him. And he was a great guide to me in my life, and he was my inspiration. And he gave me the Best Law Student of India award, and he sponsored that award for the LI Group of Foundation in Madhya Pradesh. And I'm very much happy, and I'm so blessed to have my inspiration in my foundation, Stephen. Welcome you, sir. Welcome you. Over to you, sir. Over to you to address on the topic.
Thank you, Abhishek Castro. Thank you for the profuse words of appreciation and admiration. Thank you for remembering that award also. I'm sure that you are keeping up the expectations behind that award, and you'll go to soaring heights, I'm quite sure, in your profession and in your service to the humanity through the profession. That's more important.
Thank you, sir.
Let me congratulate Lex Edu also on this occasion for carrying forward this mission with the vision of creating a society where justice, equality, liberty, fraternity, the core values of the Constitution are given due importance, and at least people who vouchsafe for these values, at least people who are participating in the seminar, are themselves groomed into these values, and they simply not preach the values, but they practice those values in their personal life, in their societal activities, and in their professional dealings. One reason I always agree to address the youngsters is, if at least 10 of them get this idea as to the country in which I'm living and what the country stands for and what I should do to the country, and what is my country, then, I'm happy, I'm satisfied also, despite I've been struggling to find a time slot for this Lex Edu, because after this pandemic, now all my commitments have been piling up on this arbitration, mediation, conferences, etc. But thank you, you have shown this enthusiasm to learn something about our Constitution and constitutional values. Yeah, ours is a constitution of the people, constitution by the people, constitution for the people. It's not simply the government of the people, by the people, for the people. This is a constitution made by the people. This is a constitution made for the people, and the constitution of the people. Who are those people? That is the crucial question that will be, that should go into the conscience of every citizen of this country. Who are these people for whom this constitution has been made? We, the people of India. We made this constitution. We, the people, it starts with we. We, the people of India, having resolved to constitute India. So we have resolved to constitute India into what? India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. These are the main 5 pillars on which this country is built. It is sovereign because it is not answerable to anybody. Unlike the British, they are answerable to the Queen. Unlike many God countries, they are answerable to the kings. Unlike some of the countries from this Far East also, they are answerable to the monarchs. But as far as India is concerned, neither traditional, non-conventional, nor constitutional, other sovereigns are there. We, the people, are the sovereign. So that sovereignty we owe to ourselves. We got liberated that way from the British sovereign rule over us, and we became ourselves sovereign. So ours is a sovereign country. We are not accountable and we are not answerable anywhere else except to the people. That's where accountability comes before the elected people, the parliaments, the elected people in the states and the state legislatures. Is there the accountability? Because we elect people, they govern us, and they give us an account of what they govern us. And that's what we have the law-making platforms of parliament or state legislature, as the case may be. Yeah, oh, the host can mute everybody. I will unmute myself. Otherwise, this will continue. Yeah. So ours is a socialist, ours is a sovereign country. Second is ours is a socialist country. Socialist simply means it is not capitalist. That's one way of looking at it. But it mainly touches on the economic policy. The economic policy being the fundamental to our governance. That's very important for our guidance. I can read out to you a small extract from the Nakara, famous DS Nakara judgment, Nakara versus the Union of India, 83-1 SCC 305. All the students will start learning this. Nakara. Nakara is a very famous and celebrated decision on the individual rights of a person, on his earnings, on his pension, etc. So many service jurisprudence, so much of service jurisprudence is discussed in Nakara. Well, in that decision, there's a small passage regarding what is socialism. The expression socialist was intentionally introduced in the preamble by the Constitution of India, 42nd Amendment Act. I will touch on this aspect a little later, 1976. The principal aim of socialist state is to eliminate inequality in income and status and standards of life. So elimination of inequalities in income, standard of living, and the status of the person. This elimination on these three aspects is very important when we understand the word socialism. It's not simply an economic policy, but elimination of inequalities and making an egalitarian society where there's not much of a gap in the matter of either income or in status or in standard of life. That is what socialism means. The principal aim of a socialist state is to eliminate inequality in income, status, and standard of life. The basic framework of socialism is to provide a decent standard of life to the working people, and especially provide security from cradle to grave. This is why we call it ours as a welfare state, because it is the duty of the state to ensure the welfare of a citizen from cradle, the moment he is born, and to the grave, to the moment he says goodbye to this world. So it is the duty of the state to ensure that his or her welfare and to provide a decent standard of life. When I touch on dignity, I'll speak a little more elaborately on this aspect. Decent standard of life. This, amongst others, on economic side, envisages economic equality and equitable distribution of income. Equality and equitable distribution. Not only the equality, but equitable distribution of income. This is a blend of Marxism and Gandhism, leaning heavily towards Gandhian socialism. This is a small quote from D.S. Nakara by the Supreme Court as early as in 1983. What is actually the meaning of socialism? So it is actually intended to eliminate the gap or eliminate the inequalities or discrepancies or the gaps in the matter of income, status, and standard of life. And also there's a positive, not only elimination, but also providing a decent standard of life by respecting the dignity of each individual from birth to death. That is actually socialism. Then comes republic. Republic, as we all know, it's a republic. It's of the say a person elected by the people governs rules this country, and there is this is closely related to democracy also, because it's it's only in a democratic setup this sort of republicanism can survive also, because the people elect their leaders. People, the top executive of this country is the President of India. And the President of India is elected by the people, not directly, but indirectly, because we elect our MLAs to the State Assembly, we elect our MPs to the Parliament, they in turn elect the President of India. So it's an indirect election, of course, through democratic process also. And you and I, any citizen of this country can become the President of India, provided we have they qualified to conduct the election to the Parliament, and we have an age of minimum 35. The President of India should have a minimum age of 35 also. So that is the beauty of Indian Constitution. You and I, the moment you attain 35, I have crossed 35 in any case. Anybody can aspire to be the President of India. It's the top ruler of this country is actually elected by the people. That is the republicanism. Then comes democracy. The last is secularism. I'll deal with secularism a little later. Democracy. Democracy, what does it mean? If you ask a definition, democracy, people will immediately say government of the people, by the people, for the people. No doubt about it. It is rudimentary or elementary as far as democracy is concerned. But beyond that, democracy as a great, as a value orientation, as a value basis. What is that value basis? It ensures that you have a space in the country and you have a voice in the country. These are the key factors as far as individual versus a state is concerned. In my state, in my country, in my state means in my country, I have a space. Nobody can uproot me and deport me to some other island or some other unknown place. No, I have a right to live here, and I have a voice to raise. Nobody can suppress me. Nobody can silence me. Nobody can make me dumb, because this is my democratic right. The worst that can happen to democracy is to silence you. Silence is antithetic democracy. The moment you are not able to raise your voice, that means you are not able to live in a democratic country and you are not able to exercise your democratic rights. Democracy means democratic. It's your voice, it's your opinion, it's your view that matters. Whether it is accepted or not, but you have a right to raise it, you have a right to voice it, and there's a duty cast on the ruler to hear it also. So that is what is democracy. So my space and voice are both important in a democratic country. The moment there is a threat to my space or voice, that means there is something wrong with my democracy. My democracy is in danger. The democracy of the country in which I live is in danger. If I don't have a safe space in the country, if I don't have a free voice in the country, that means I'm no more living in a democratic country, and I do not have a democratic rights also. So it's a country where the system of governance ensures a space to every citizen and a voice to every citizen. This is the apter interpretation, the times as we live now to understand democracy. So this is why democracy requires participation of the citizens. See, without the citizen, there is no country. Because this is my country. This is our country. This is my India. I am part of this India. Without me, my country is incomplete, because I am a constituent factor of this country, a constituent element of this country. The moment I withdraw from the mainstream of the country, that means the country suffers and I too suffer, because I do not exercise my country and the country do not get my service. These are the two aspects of democracy: participation of the people in the building up of the nation, even by, maybe it's by voting, maybe it's by participation in the welfare activities, maybe in participating in the building up of the nation, all the national activities is very important when you understand democracy. Then comes the last one I wanted to deal with, secularism. Before I deal with this aspect, I want to tell you secularism and the word secular and socialist were not there originally in the preamble when the constitution came into force in 1950. These words were added after 25 years of living experience of the Constitution of India by the 42nd Amendment to the Constitution of India. And that's a famous amendment because the 42nd Amendment came into, it was shaped during emergency. It came into effect, I think, in 1977. Yes. 42nd Amendment came into effect in, 1 second. Yeah, 3/1/77. 3rd January 1977. It came into effect. It was introduced during emergency, and it introduced the drastic amendments to the Constitution. Directive principles were sought to be given what you call more preference than the fundamental rights. So fundamental rights had to give way to directive principles of state policy. It was that amendment, 90% of the 42nd Amendment were struck down, but this one was retained. So too the fundamental duties was also retained. The fundamental duties, Chapter 4A of the Constitution, Article 51A, was also introduced in the 42nd Amendment Act. And this word socialist and secular were also introduced. Why was that necessary? This is something very interesting. See, by introducing secular and socialist does not mean that the India became a secular and socialist country only in 1977. No. Even prior to 42nd Amendment Act, India was a socialist country and India was a secular country. As far as our economic policies are concerned, Nehru was very clear right from the beginning that India's socialist economic policies. Right from the BC 3rd century, when Emperor Ashoka time also, if you see the rock edicts of Emperor Ashoka, there are 14 major rock edicts of Emperor Ashoka, 3rd century. And the 12th major rock edict of Emperor Ashoka really speaks about respect to all religions, accommodation to all religions. So India by its very what you call very existential factor has always been secular in its concept. That is why India gave birth to how many religions? Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism. Despite, because that has been the tradition of, that has been the real meaning of Hindu. Hindu means sarva mat sarva bhavana. And it actually permits everybody to pursue the concept of truth. Let light come from whatever source. It is not close to any source of light. And therefore it welcomed Christianity. It welcomed Islam. It welcomed Zoroastrianism. It again gave birth to Sikhism. So all these were the what they call the monumental examples of the secular character, fundamentally secular. Actually, it was intrinsically secular, basically secular, fundamentally secular. The country was right from BC 3rd century. I have been doing little research on this aspect of secularism. So therefore, it is not something which came by an amendment to the Constitution. It was only restated in the Constitution. It was already there because if you read the Constitution of India right from the preamble, for example, liberty. The Constitution of India guarantees liberty of what? Liberty of thought, expression, faith, belief, and worship. And what is Article 25? Article 25, subject to public order, health, morality, and other parts of the fundamental rights. It gives a liberty to everyone, either to believe or not to believe. And if you believe, you can profess your faith, you can practice your faith, and you can propagate your faith also. I don't think there's any country in the world which gives this much of an expression as to what the secular concept of India is. It is not simply an indifference to religion. It is actually a positive. That's why this is how Gandhiji and Swami Vivekananda said. Ours is a positive secularism. Means it welcomes religion. It recognizes the religion. It recognizes the role the religion can play in molding the character of a person and making a better citizen. So it helps him to become a better person and more responsible citizen. If I can put it the other way, it helps a person to become a better person, number one, and it helps a person to become a more responsible citizen. Therefore, India recognizes this role the religion can play. It is not attached to any religion. India does not have any official religion. India does not have any preference to any religion. All religions are equal, and all religions are equally entitled to survive, to profess, practice, and propagate their belief or faith or worship. Nobody can prevent it. It is the basic basic structure. It is part of the basic structure of the constitution. You know the famous Kesavananda Bharati case. Kesavananda Bharati case is of 1973. In 1973, the 13-member judge strength, the decision of Kesavananda Bharati is 13 judges. That is in 1973. To be exact, the judgment date is 24/4/1973. Definitely, it is prior to the 42nd Amendment, because 42nd Amendment is introduced in 76, came into effect in 77, 3177. But as early as in 1973, by a 13-judge bench of the Supreme Court of India, which alone is competent to say the final word on what the Constitution is. That 13-judge bench held that the Indian secularism is a basic structure of the Constitution. The true position is that I'm just quoting from Kesavananda Bharati. The true position is that every provision of the Constitution can be amended, provided in the result of the basic foundation and structure of the Constitution remains the same. The basic structure may be said to consist of the following features, some of which I'll tell you: supremacy of the Constitution, republican and democratic form of government, secular character of the Constitution. This is where secularism was held to be a basic structure, and it is and where it was also held that India is a secular country, separation of powers, federal character of the Constitution. And thereafter came many, basic structures like rule of law is a basic structure, independence of the judiciary is a basic structure. So the difference between basic structure and non-basic structure is Parliament is entitled to amend the Constitution under Article 368, but do not change the basic structure of the Constitution. The Supreme Court says, basic structure is the personality of the Constitution. This personality of the Constitution, that's in Kesavananda, this expression is used. Kesavananda Bharati says the personality of the Constitution must remain unchanged. So basic structure of the Constitution cannot be changed. This I mean just focusing because there is a discussion in some quarters that what came by an amendment to the Constitution can be taken away by an amendment. No, it is not because of an amendment that India became secular. India was otherwise secular. And secularism is a positive concept as far as India is concerned, and that Indian secularism is unique in the world because it welcomes religion, it recognizes the role the religion can play, making a person a better person and making a citizen a more responsible citizen, and that it is a basic structure of the Constitution of India. Basic structure is very simple. If your house is built on 5 columns, you cannot remove 1 column because the house is actually built on those 5 basic structures. You cannot take 1 pillar away. No, The moment you take one pillar away, that you tinker with the very structure of the building. Therefore, secularism has assumed that much of importance in the Constitution of India, and that is reflected right from Article 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 25, 26, 28, 29, 30. All these places, it is discussed. What exactly is it is more discussed in detail as to whether the Constitution was originally secular in S.R. Bomme also, which is which has a jet strength of 9. Yes, 1994. Bomme also has very elaborately dealt with the Indian secularism. That it was originally there, not because of an amendment that India became secular, but because of it's an existential factor of intrinsically existential factor of the Indian Constitution. So we have seen the 5 pillars: sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republican. On these 5 pillars, this country is now standing. Now comes the value based. It says, and therefore, we, the people of India, having resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, securing to ourselves, we are going to secure what? Securing to ourselves, this is the word used in the preamble, securing to ourselves, is going to secure to, we are going to secure to ourselves what? One is justice. This is the core constitutional values. There are 4 core constitutional values. One is justice, which is both, not both, which is social, economic, and political. Social justice we have seen, economic justice we have seen partly, and of course the political justice where as a citizen you can exercise your political rights in this country, not simply by voting but also participating in the political process of this country also. So there is justice is secured to a citizen in this country. Second is liberty, and liberty has 5. Justice has 3 ports, and justice has 5 ports. Justice, liberty of thought, expression, faith, belief, and worship. And thought and expression is actually dealt with in Article 19 of the Constitution of India, where it is very clearly stated that it is not absolute in the sense reasonable restrictions can be imposed in your freedom of speech and expression, and those restrictions are 9 in number. Those are dealt with in Article 19(2). Reasonable restrictions on the exercise of the right conferred by the subclause in the interests of 1. Sovereignty and integrity of India, security of the state, friendly relations with the foreign state, public order, decency, morality, contempt of court, defamation, or incitement to an offense. On these 9 aspects, there can be reasonable restrictions imposed on your freedom of speech and expression. That's why the contempt law is not, because your right to voice is not absolute. It's a basic theory. You have a right to wave your hand. The moment your hand touches on your friend's nose or neighbor's nose, your freedom, there's a limit. So it's not unlimited or unrestricted or unguided. It's always regulated by these 9 aspects, because it's a society, living in a society. You have to respect the rights of others also. That's why this regulation. Just as in the case of a freedom of religion or a conscience, freedom of conscience and religion, which can be regulated in terms of public order, there are 4 aspects: public order, health, morality, and other fundamental rights of a citizen. So the freedom of conscience and religion can be regulated in 4 aspects. And as far as this freedom of speech and expression is concerned, it can be regulated on 9 aspects which are dealt with under Article 19(2) of the Constitution of India. So that is liberty of thought, expression, faith, belief, and worship. Then comes equality. Equality of status and opportunity. And mind you, there are 2 articles in the Fundamental Rights chapter 3, which are available to all persons, irrespective of being citizens. Fundamental rights are always guaranteed to citizens, but there is also a guarantee even to non-citizens also in this country. In our country, it's a great country. There's a guarantee to non-citizens also as far as equality is concerned and as far as the right to life is concerned. Under Article 14, all persons are entitled to the equality, before law and equal protection of the laws. That is available to all persons. So right to life also. The right to life, it is a life and liberty to all citizens, all persons. It is secured in the, it is not secured, guaranteed in the Constitution. We have secured and the Constitution is guaranteed. There is a difference. So equality is available to all persons in this country. Equality before law. Everybody is equal before law and everybody is entitled to equal protection of laws. That's the basic premises of the value of equality. And then comes fraternity. That also is a very important constitutional value. Fraternity, the moment the fraternity says, fraternity, it says assuring what? Assuring the dignity of the individual. Dignity of the individual is very important in this country. Your dignity and my dignity does not depend on whether I am black or white, whether I am scheduled caste or non-scheduled caste, whether I am man or woman, whether I am a transgender or not, whether I belong to a poor strata of the society or economically poor or socially poor, whether I have some possession or non-possession, whether I have house or non-house, irrespective whether I belong to south or north, whether I speak this language or that language, irrespective of caste, color, creed, gender, language, place of birth, religion, anything, all are entitled to the same dignity, equal dignity. It's the dignity that matters. But unfortunately, this part of equality and dignity of the people of this country is not reflected or respected by the majority of the people. See, look at the fate of our women. The people who are listening to me, if you are men, we can walk on the street of any place in India, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock alone. Nobody bothers. But can you think of a young woman or even an old woman walking alone in night at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock? It will be very difficult in the country. Be it in any place, very difficult in this country. Because people think there is something wrong. People think because people view a woman as a commodity or object of consumption. Their dignity is not respected, their equality. They are also entitled to equal dignity as men are in both, not only both, in all aspects of their liberty, of our status, of our equality, and of our dignity. It's their dignity that we need to respect. Unfortunately, we have not inculcated this culture of dignity, treating our women with the dignity. That is why in the fundamental duties, one fundamental duty is to renounce practices which are derogatory to women. That dignity of women, sorry. Article 51AE. It says promote the harmony and spirit of a common brotherhood amongst all the people of India, transcending religious, linguistic, regional, sectional diversities, and it's called to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women. What are the practices derogatory to the dignity of women? I used to ask, I can see quite a few young sisters participating in this seminar also. Don't you feel, I'm asking a blunt question. Don't think me otherwise. Don't think about me otherwise. Of my 3 children, 2 are daughters, 2 are married also. Of my grandchildren, 4 are girls also. I have a great respect for women. But I'm saying, don't you feel that your dignity is affected when you alone are made the object of, you are made as a commodity or object of consumption or tradable commodity? Look at the advertisements. Even for the undergarments of men, it's your half-naked or nude picture that is being used. See, the type of exploitation of your dignity in the advertisement sector in this country. This is one thing I have always been telling to the young people. Have you any time protested against this exploitation of your womanhood, your dignity? Are you not entitled to self-respect? Why do you want to be treated as a community? Does this not otherwise expose you to a danger in society? I know some of the newspapers surviving only on the half-naked pictures of women, because there are people who subscribe to those papers only for seeing these pictures. This I'm on anonymity I'm quoting. I asked somebody, a top official of a paper. That person told me, sir, we survive only on those 4 pages. If those 4 pages are not there, people will stop subscription to our paper. Look at the way the people treat you. They're actually exploiting you. They're actually making you a saleable commodity. This is where your dignity is affected. I have touched only on dignity of one aspect of women. What about the dignity of street children? These days in Delhi, I've been working for the cause of street children also after my retirement. You know, there are 90,000 street children in Delhi. Can you believe? In Delhi NCR. And you know, they are either they have not been able to go to school. They are dropouts. They don't have a place to stay, etc. We have started a non-formal education for them on the street. Today, in fact, Saturday and Sunday are in 5 places we have started. We give them books. We give them something to eat. We give them a place to sit, and we teach them. They only want to write their name. Look at the yearning. Look at the thirst for their knowledge. And one girl, her name is Mia. She must be 12, 13. She says, you know, after having learned to write her name and ABCD also, now she says, I want to become a doctor. Yes, she's entitled to become a doctor. I'm quite sure, you know, she will become a good doctor and will make her a doctor, so no doubt about it. All those children who we want to put them back into schools, the moment they are in schools, they will be able to continue their studies and they make a whole different difference. But unfortunately, there's no school now. There's a different aspect altogether. So I'm saying about dignity. So do we give equal dignity of those people whom we see on the street? Do we give equal dignity of those poor people who come as salesmen? Do we give equal dignity of those people who otherwise are not able to come to the mainstream, being scheduled caste, being scheduled tribe, being transgenders, being poor, being black, being physically challenged, being mentally challenged, being economically weak, being socially weak, having no position? Yes, my dear youngsters, this is my crucial question to the conscience of each one of you. Our approach to a person in the country should be above all these differences on religion, on caste, on gender, on power, on position, on language, on region, or place of birth, community. Irrespective of all that, let's think of a society where everybody is equal. The people who are listening to me and people who are not able to listen to me also, when we look around, we must see them as our own brothers and sisters. For 12 years in the assembly, we have taken a pledge. You remember that pledge? India is my country. All Indians are my brothers and sisters. But do we see the poor children on the street as our brothers and sisters? Do we see that woman or a girl walking alone in little late hours as our sister? Do we see our sister exposed to such dangers? How many harassment cases are recorded of minors and majors? Are women secure in this country? 12 years we learned, we pledged that all are my brothers and sisters. But we are not able to see them, view them, treat them We took a pledge, but we are not able to treat them as my own sisters and brothers. Those who are accident victims, they are also our brothers and sisters. But what do? We also pass through that way and look whether it is my own brother or own sister. If not, then we look at the watch and go, oh, I have so many other things to do. Where is our idea of constitutional fraternity? Mind you, equality, justice, liberty are rights, whereas fraternity is a duty. My dear young friends, let's practice this duty. Let us think about the culture in India where people are not differentiated on the basis of caste or community or religion or sex. Beyond all this, let us treat everybody as a human being. This spirit of humanism and brotherhood, this is very important. Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. It's a family. My country is a family. Everybody, Pita or Mother or brother or sister. Let us develop such a culture. I want you to think above all this casteism, communalism is going to the curses of this country. Casteism, communalism, corruption. There are 3 C's, 3 curses for the country. Casteism, communalism, corruption. Let's rise above culture on a due outlook in my own life by respecting women, respecting people, not because or not on what they have and what they are, but on their very personhood. Right? This is where I wanted to end up also on this constitutional values, on this fraternity of fraternity, assuring. The other one is securing. Securing India, we have constituted India to secure justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. And fraternity, assuring the dignity of individual and the unity and integrity of the country also. So let's stand for a united India. Let's stand for one India. Let's think that India is my country. Let's always remind ourselves that all Indians are my brothers and sisters, irrespective of what he has or she is, irrespective of anything else, of only on the ground of being a person. All the best, my dear friends. God bless. Jai Hind. I just spent maybe another 15 minutes in case you have anything to ask.
Thank you so much, Honorable Justice. It was an insightful, informative, inspiring session. And this session, the address made by you has upholded the justice, equality, liberty, and fraternity. And through this session, we all learned and we all taking a resolution. The Constitution is above all. The Constitution is supreme. The Constitution is the soul of India. Thank you so much, Justice, for this wonderful address on this topic, constitutional values. This really means a lot. Now, I request the participants, we are only going to take 2 questions. So you can post your questions in the chat box so that I can read the questions to Honorable Justice and get the answers. Any questions, you can post it in the chat box. Only 2 questions we are taking. Hurry up, participants. Any questions, participants?
You can unmute and ask on sign, no problem. I always welcome.
Yes, you can unmute and you can ask the question directly to Honorable Justice.
So here is the question from YouTube actually. In the present situation, what's your opinion about constitutional reform? Do you think that is it needed or not? From Anand Raj from YouTube.
My dear Anand, what do you mean by constitutional reform? First of all, what is constitution? I already told you, we have constituted ourselves into what? And this constitution has basic structures, basic features, and non-basic. As far as non-basics are concerned, we continue to have reform. There is no country in the world which has undergone this many changes. If my memory goes right, we have reached up to in 70 years of the constitution, we have had 109 amendments to the Constitution of India. If I remember, it's subject to correction. Any of this above 100, because 100 was the NJSC. I know, and I was part of the bench which struck down that amendment to the Constitution, because to me, or to us, we felt that it is a violation of the independence of the judiciary, which is also a basic structure of the Constitution, or it's a basic factor for the country to exist also. So, so reforms are always welcome, but don't reform in such a way that it destroys your very existence. I have a beautiful extract from. I'll just now that. Yeah, this is again from the Keshwandaban. The core core of religion always remains constant, but the practices associated with it may change. Likewise, Constitution like ours contains certain features which are so essential that they cannot be changed or destroyed. In any event, it cannot be destroyed from within. In other words, one cannot legally use the Constitution to destroy itself. Right? One cannot legally legally use the Constitution to destroy itself. Yes, and there's another beautiful expression also. I think it is in Nagaraj. Yes, this is actually in Nagaraj. Nagaraj theory of it's the basic structure is the constitutional identity. The main object behind the theory of constitutional identity is the continuity, and within that continuity of identity, changes are admissible depending upon the situation and circumstances of the day. So changes welcome, but those changes shall not destroy the very structure of the Constitution.
Thank you, sir.
Right? Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions, participants? So we are winding up the questionnaire session. So now I'll move to the vote of thanks. Thank you, Honorable Justice. In the midst of your busy schedule, thank you for being here to address on a very insightful topic. I am very much blessed, and I am so much blessed in this lifetime to have a session with my inspiration, who I see tall in the judiciary, Indian judiciary. And I'm very much proud and happy to interact with him in this lifetime, and on a very insightful and very inspiring topic, which I have to uphold in my life, in my profession, when I'm in bar or bench, etc., everywhere, wherever I go, the constitutional values. So this video has been recorded and it is uploaded in my YouTube channel, Abhishek Castro. And I will be sharing this session video to many law schools across India, to everybody in the legal fraternity, the advocates and everybody. And this session will be an historic event in my foundation, which is upholding the constitutional values, which is needed for the great and then visionary and then a prosperity India. So this will be shared to all the law students across India. I assure this to Honorable Justice. So thank you so much, Honorable Justice, for being here. And I seek your grace and blessings in this hall. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I thank all the participants, and I thank our Rotaract clubs who are collaborating with us. I thank Project Bhudan and Project Bhudan Managing Trustee, Mr. Shreyash. And then I thank Lalitya, the student coordinators. I thank Akshay, and I thank all the participants from across India and from across the world who joined this event and make this event a grand success. Thank you, Honorable Justice. Thank you so much.
There was a question on the chat box regarding reservation. Let me just deal with that question also in 2-3 minutes.
Yes.
My dear young friends, see, we always have a little bit of irritation on the reservation, because the reservation originally started in the Constitution for 10 years. Now it has been amended 7 times. It's 70 years now. Even now the reservation continues. What is actually the purpose of reservation? I'll tell you a very simple example. I am 5'3" or 5'4". Suppose somebody wants to of my level, and somebody is only 2 feet. What does he do? He cannot touch on my head. He cannot stand at my same level. So what do we do? I put a stool on my side and and ask him to stand on that stool and be of my level. This is reservation, helping somebody to come up to the level in which you and I are. But unfortunately, we are seeing only those cream of those reserved communities who have come up in life. My dear youngsters, I asked you, many of you are from Madras. Go to the interior villages of Madras. Many of you, some of you have, if you get a chance, come to the northern interior parts of UP, interior parts of Bihar, interior parts of Haryana. Even now, you are those people belonging to those scheduled caste, scheduled tribe are not able to walk on the road freely. They are not able to take the same water from the same well. They are not able to mount on a horse. They are not able to eat decent food. They will not be permitted to come into the same restaurant. This is the country in which we are living. You don't know, we see only the cream of those people who come up in life from the reserved communities. But actually, reservation is meant for those people whom I refer to now. They are the Daridra Narayana, just as Krishna has referred to them. They are we the people of India. They are we the people of India. So see, India is full of such diversities, you know. We have 22 scheduled languages and 848 other dialects also. It is this plurality that makes India what India is. It's not a garden of roses alone. It's a garden of all sorts of flowers. And that makes this country beautiful. Europe cannot think of India because Europe has only one language, many countries. They are formed on the basis of one language, one religion. But look at India. How many languages do we have? Even in Kerala, Malayalam when we speak. I'm in Delhi now, but I'm saying my native state is Kerala. The Malayalam we speak in Trivandrum is not the same Malayalam we speak in Central Trivandrum. That is not the same Malayalam we go to Calicut. That is not the same Malayalam we go to Kasaragod. So we have dialectical variations also. Then Tamil Nadu, one language, Karnataka, another language, Telangana, another language, then Hindi, another language, then coming to Haryanvi, Punjabi, Urdu, Parsi, so many languages also. You know? You take a 100 rupee note, how many languages? I give you one exercise. How many languages are there when the denomination is written? Do that exercise also. It's actually diversity of this country. So your friend Castro has always been saying upholding, upholding. Upholding is actually a word used in the third schedule to the Constitution where we take oath, discharge my duties and uphold the Constitution and the laws. So my final parting request to all of you, be a law-abiding citizen. Never ever take pride in breaking law. Always take pride in following law and abiding by the law. And help not only simply live and help live, let live, but help live. Yeah, this is my, I always make this change always with you. I ask you to the change makers, not simply live and let live, but live and help live. This is actually the fundamental duty of each one of us. God bless you. All the best. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Jai Hind. We're ending the session. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Really means a lot. Thank you so much. We're ending the session.